All right, well, first part of the Purdle making process is, the ingredients. And here we have some primo sausage, Italian sweet, half Italian sweet and half hot. That'll give us lots and lots of flavor in our Purdles. So it's ingredients. These are made right here in Baltimore. These sausages. So these are very fresh, very fresh. And I like to go with the sweet Italian and the hot. It's kind of a balance. I know some of the family, like Gary likes to have my dad likes to have the sweet Italian. I don't know what Sarah likes. I think it's all very bland, very bland Missouri type. And I like to have the hot, but not all hot. Part hot and part sweet. I think that's why this primo Baltimore brand sausage really works out well. And I squeezed out all the sausage out of the the casing you see here, so you don't use that. And then just regular Smithfield fresh ground pork. I have 2 of these in here, so it's 2 pounds of just regular Smithfields or any kind of just fresh ground pork and some sausage. So this is really the differentiator of my in my idea. And as opposed to many others and the way they make their Purdles, what I do is I actually brown the sausage and the fresh ground pork together in the pot. I don't boil. The whole idea of boiling to me is just disgusting, and I'd much rather have the flavor come out of the meat with the oils through a browning process. And so what we'll see here in the next phase, actually making the Purdles part, but this browning part absolutely takes a good 20 minutes or so. So when this is complete, here in the next segment, I'll show you the rest of the adventure in making Purdles. All right, well, this is we're pretty far through the browning process. We're almost ready to add the oats for the first time, as well as water, and start spicing up our Purdles here. And it's hard to say how the different parts of the family have gotten to where they're at right now in making Purdles. I know the Gary Miller side with Sarah, she decided to start using a food processor. It makes it kind of a mush, which I don't really like. So I spent a lot of hard time labor here with regular ground beef, pork, regular pork, and then sausage, as I showed you the mix. And I spent a lot of time just crunching up, making it nice and small. This is a good 20-minute process. Get you a good upper body workout while you're doing it. I don't really know what's going on with Carrie and Holly and how they make their Purdles, or even those other folks that are part of the family in Boston and Washington D.C. and under the rest of our family. But it's just, I believe this is the best way to do it, being of the blood. So and being kind of a cook myself, I just can't see the whole boiling thing. But the next phase we'll see here after I'm done crunching all this up by hand, which Sarah would say is could be done very easily with a food processor. And we'll move on to the next. Here we are with our next phase, and this is where we're going to be adding in the oats. As you can see, we got our regular Quaker oats. This is already measured to 2/3 of regular old-fashioned Quaker oats, which you get in the store. Regular 2 ounces, 18 ounce. Anyway, we're going to load it in here. Remember, this is 2/3 of a container of oats. All right, done there. And then what I usually do is just another half container of oats, which I have here. Another half of water. All right. Oh, we're seeing it now. So this is really, we're going to spend the next 5 minutes just working in the oats into the meat and to the broth at this point. And I'll catch you up here in a few minutes after I get it all worked in when we start the spicing. All right, here we are with the spicing. I've got all the oats mixed in with the right amount of broth. Now it's the time to do our spicing. So obviously, first thing we're going to start with is salt. And you know, we're gonna apply liberally. And the next thing we're gonna do is ground allspice. Yes, apply liberally. And then what I, this is a Miller differentiation, but whatever, you guys will figure it out. I use West Texas Dust. I know it's salt free, but I already put plenty in there, as you saw. So this is a differentiator here, since I'm a Texan technically, Kansan. But regardless, we're gonna work in these spices. Let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and then we'll do some tasting to verify that our spicing mixology here is where it needs to be. See you in a minute. All right. Well, we've been soaking in the oatmeal for about 20 minutes now, and it's time for the first tasting. And of course, up to this point, these are the three ingredients: salt, allspice, and I'm a Texan, so West Texas Dust. Now, I would assume I'm going to end up putting some black pepper in, so that's a given. But I like to get the first pieces started and then, spice it up along the way. That's kind of my deal here. So I'm going to give it a little taste, kind of see where it's at on the spice scale. So you can see it's a pretty good looking Purdle so far. So I'll let you know here in a second. Well, it's just about perfect. Oh my. Yeah, the West Texas Dust gives it plenty of pepper, but I can still see where you see the need for some black pepper. So it's normal. Oh man, though, that tastes good. Can't wait till tomorrow morning. All right, there we go. And we'll give this another stir, and another good maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and we'll set it up for completion, but which is really just putting it in the correct containers for either freezing and or refrigeration. Wonderful. Miller, Purdles, a la Shane youngest in that generation. All right, well, I am done with my Purdles. As you can see, some of those red dots. You can see some of that spice from that hot Italian sausage. I'm gonna fry up a piece and see how she tastes. I'm sure it will be delicious. This is my favorite frying pan. And of course, we all have our own, kind of a process to cook them in the morning. I like to cook mine on low, which is about, as you can see, 4 on a scale of up to high. So, medium, actually, is what I like to do, because it cooks longer and they get crispy. And of course, since I'm not rushing to work anymore these days, just start my own business, I don't have to do that. Don't have to worry about rushing out of the house. I can actually spend some time in getting a nice crispy Purdle. So I'll join us after I get the first batch done. All right, well, I took a pause from my loud rock and roll music that I'm listening to while I'm doing the cooking. Again, we're making up patties after making a pot of Purdles, making up the patties. You can see the 2 patties here. With olive oil in your favorite frying pan. That's all that's needed. Make sure they look nice and greasy, and they'll cook good. Low heat for a long time. Put my splatter guard back on so wife doesn't get mad. But I gotta clean the stove anyway. All right, well, it's been about almost 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. You can see our Purdle patties. Now, while they're getting all crispy, I'm gonna go ahead and take these babies out and prep them for eating. All right, well, here's the finished product. You know, and again, I'm from Texas, so I eat my Purdles on tortillas when I can. Or, you know, if I'm really going low carb, you know, I just have the Purdles and some eggs. But you know, since my favorite is Purdles, spicy Purdles with the sausage, as you saw in the ingredient portion of the video, and then yeah, this is pure Texas right here, going along with the West Texas dust. So you see, they're nice little patties and well crusty. I'm gonna just kind of squeeze these together like a taco and have at it. I'm not adding any cheese or any sauce or salsa or anything. I don't want to change the flavor of the meat and of the Purdles. So this is Shane's Purdle making video. So hopefully you've learned something here and enjoy your own.